from, I don't know, from these vacationers to the state government, as opposed to the local family businesses which have existed for generations and have
thrive and live off those 3 months.
Right. That is their, if you will.
We're seasonal. More seasonal than most places.
Mm-hmm.
We're even seasons. They could really, doesn't make any sense. We're the ocean state.
Now,
that is our claim to fame.
Now, your firm obviously is involved statewide with all the real estate agents, and I guess you guys have promoted a call to action?
We did have a call to action. Last week we had a call to action. It's our understanding that this is going to be brought up on Tuesday, and we strongly oppose this. We strongly oppose any kind of extra tax on any kind of real estate beyond what's already happening because, again, we're just trying to recover this marketplace. We're trying to get everybody economically strong, happy, investing in the state, raising their families, going to the beaches, going to the schools. And every time they add a tax, they give somebody else a reason to go somewhere else because you can move over the state line and still have all the benefits of everything we offer.
Absolutely.
And that is the truth.
Right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Give us a shout-out as to how we can contact you at Stewart & Williams and, avail yourself of your professional services.
Sure. Dee Sutherland, and I'm with Williams & Stewart Real Estate out of Cranston. And my cell is 401-952-0664, 952-0664. Passionate. I do love this state, and I just want to keep people here and keep it happy. And hopefully they will table this at the very least so we don't have some very surprised vacationers coming here to enjoy this beautiful state and everything it has to offer this summer.
Right, and you can also listen, as I mentioned, to our compatriot Paul Zarella on the Real Estate Insiders here on WPRO at 10 to 11.
Yep, 10 to 11,
I
guess
Sunday
so
mornings.
with Paul a lot, so we'll be talking about this some more as well.
Very good. Hey, listen, thanks for joining us and say hi to Paul for us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys. You have a great afternoon.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, a fine kettle of fish, as someone would be wont to say. Last minute mental meanderings of this legislator, of course, are going to throw ordinary lives of ordinary working Rhode Islanders into yet another tumult and to yet another chaos, or as they say on the Vincent A. Buddy Sanson Jr. show, it is a fine frittata. Wow. We've got more to go, though. Let's jump right into our next guest who's in the studio with us. We have the rare privilege of sitting in the big chair, one Rebecca Nieves McGoldrick, Executive Director of Rhode Island. Let me get this straight. Protecting Families First.
Protect Families First.
Protect Families First.
Close.
Joining us in the studio today. If you've listened to the Coalition for any length of time, that you understand that we, in addition to being against outrage porn, which we loosely define as appealing to the base emotions of the mob, as opposed to working through issues collaboratively with folks who are intimately involved and the listening public, you will also understand that the war on drugs, the effects of drug abuse, and their effects on the culture at large are a major part of our focus. We've had the privilege...
Put simply, prohibition does not work.
Exactly. We've had the privilege over the last 6 months in particular of having folks from Regulate Rhode Island on. We had Jared Moffitt. We've also had the folks from NORML on. We've had folks from LEAP, which is Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. Today, we
broadcast live from the Cannabis Convention.
We broadcast live from the Cannabis Convention, which, of course, is available to you at our state-of-the-art brand-new website at coalitionradio.us. Today represents sort of a departure in one sense from that, because what we're going to talk about today is really the human impact. I'll call it the collateral damage. And I almost hate to use that word, but the collateral damage of the war on drugs as it affects the family of folks who find themselves in the throes of addiction. And also some of the legislation that's pending again, because, we've had months to consider this, and you have great groups like Rebecca's and Regulate Rhode Island who spend literally year-round efforts to educate the public and work with the legislature, and yet every year we see ourselves falling into the same trap. You have this, tumultuous 2 weeks end of the session where you find out if the labors of the past year have gone for naught, or if you're going to get the type of professional, mature hearing that your bill so richly deserves. So, Rebecca, first of all, welcome to the Coalition.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes before the break, so I want you to focus. First of all, give us a little bit of background about your organization, because it's new to a lot of our listeners. Tell us how you started and what you folks do overall.
So Protect Families First was founded in 2012, and we are a Rhode Island-based 501c3 organization. And really what we do is educate people about the human costs of the war on drugs. Trying to tie the data with the narrative, with the human story, and really show all of the multifaceted ways that the war on drugs undermines families, tears them apart, separates them through incarceration, puts them through struggles of addiction. We see what we're going through at the border with a refugee crisis. We have mass incarceration in this country. So I don't think it's unfair to say that the war on drugs is really one of the drivers of one of the biggest human rights crises of our times. And what Protect Families First does is we want to elaborate on that human narrative and really show people the cost of waging this punitive war.
Well, and I think largely, and I think government and largely the population suffers from this, is they kind of think in silos, and they think that, oh, the drug war is about enforcement and these people and these drug dealers, and then that's where it all ends. But more and more we're realizing that there are tentacles and secondary, tertiary, right on down the line. It's very much a ripple effect throughout communities, throughout people's families.
Absolutely, and I think that that's what every story, whether it is someone who is arrested, who's locked up, it may be someone who is in the throes of addiction. It may be a family that has lost someone to overdose, but these are human lives, and there is a whole network surrounding them, family, community, that is impacted by our drug policies. So we can't think of this as in a vacuum as, drug users, as individual people. Really, we have to think about the communities that they're involved in, the people surrounding them who are also impacted by these laws.
Do you find that folks who have been impacted by drugs, particularly the folks who are abusing drugs, the folks who are, like I said, we say in the throes of addiction, do you find that they're often characterized as almost collateral damage, that somehow, I've heard some incredibly abusive things said about folks very casually, because they're almost regarded as non-entities. They're no longer people anymore. They've been completely dehumanized because people see them as a shell, as a statistic. How overreaching
you
is
knew
that?
what you were getting into when you got involved in drugs.
Absolutely.
Right?
We hear that all the time, and I think that I'm hopeful that the conversation is gradually changing as our country starts really talking about our problem with mass incarceration especially. But I think that absolutely people are seen as collateral damage, as a shell of a human being. And what I think the evidence is more and more boiling out, it's becoming clearer, is that the biggest drivers of problematic drug use are not the drugs themselves. That's a symptom of something much deeper, of a lot of trauma, a lot of isolation. And one of my favorite addiction doctors, Gabor Mate, is quoted as saying that if you really wanted to make addiction worse, you would be doing exactly what America is doing. So that really stuck with me recently, because I think that it's true. We take people out, we remove them from their community, from their families, we isolate them, we traumatize them, we subject them to more barriers to recovery, and really do not ever address the underlying causes. A lot of it is childhood trauma that highly elevates the risk of problematic drug use.
And we're starting to see also, some evidence of there's a genetic element to this as well, where, and this is the argument that I make with people, is, more and more we're finding out that drugs are not addictive, people are. Like certain people have that whatever neural connection that predisposes them to addiction, to whether it be drugs, sex, gambling, food, shopping. You name it.
What's really, really fascinating is a recent study came out that someone has been researching or doing a retake on the original study of the rats. This is Your Brain on Drugs. And in the 80s, there was a whole campaign around lab rats in a cage, isolated in cages, and they had an option to choose water or an option to choose water laced with cocaine or heroin. And of course, the 9 out of 10 of them died because they always choose the drug-infused water. And a researcher decades ago said, something is funny with this. Why are the rats alone?
I'm gonna totally geek out here because I've actually read that exact same study, and I found it fascinating.
It's phenomenal because what it really suggests that, well, when they reran the study, but instead of isolating rats alone with nothing but drug-infused water or water, and instead put them in a rat park of sorts, where they had other viable sexual mates and good food and room to run around and playgrounds and things to stimulate them.
They up the quality of life for the most part.
And they didn't choose the drug-infused water. So I think that was really, really interesting to say, we've got to think of this as a community-wide problem. We can't really reduce it to the individual level.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a little bit of a break right now, but we're going to spend the next half hour with Rebecca Neves McGoldrick, Executive Director of
Protect Families First.
Thank you. You are listening, and by the way, what is your website?
ProtectFamiliesFirst.org.
Great. You are listening live to the Coalition on the Worldwide Coalition Radio Network. Facebook.com/the Coalition Radio, Coalition_radio on the Mighty Mighty Twitter. Of course, as we mentioned at the top of the show, take a shot at our website this week. It's new and redesigned, and we're featuring Ethan Giles in his take on ethics in Rhode Island. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The voice of Southern New England and the WPRO Morning News with Gene Valicenti.
It's always money, right? Gordon Fox should have listened to Reverend Ike about money. He'll tell you about money.
Here is the money magnet idea. In becoming a master of money, you must make your mind a money magnet.
You follow
Let
here?
me hear you say, I make my mind a money magnet.
I make my mind a money magnet.
Now this time say it with some joy. Come on.
I make my mind a money magnet. Thank you, Reverend Ike.
Start your day with Rhode Island's anchorman, Gene Valicenti, every weekday morning 6 till 9 a.m. before John DePietro on News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM WPRO. From the Seascape Yard Guard Weather Center, here's your exclusive AccuWeather forecast.
Mostly clear for tonight, comfortable down to 62, partly sunny, nice tomorrow, high 83. Increasing clouds tomorrow night with some rain later on, down to 57. Occasional rain on Monday, the high only 65. With WPRO's exclusive AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist John Fear.
AccuWeather on the voice of Southern New England. News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM WPRO.
Beacon Shipping Logistics will ship any car, any vehicle, anywhere in the United States with door-to-door service. Just call 855-3-SHIP-IT. They ship vehicles for thousands of auto dealers throughout the country, so you know you can trust them to provide the most reliable auto transport in the industry. And they offer open or enclosed shipping for your precious cargo. Did you see a car online and can't get there? Let Beacon Shipping ship and deliver it right to your door. Need to get your boat from West Palm to Warwick Neck? Beacon can do it. Call Beacon Shipping Logistics for transporting one car to an entire fleet. Call 855-3-SHIP-IT or beaconshippinglogistics.com for service that shines. Let Beacon Shipping Logistics take the stress out of your life. Beacon Shipping Logistics provides the most honest auto transport service in the industry. Beacon Shipping Logistics, your one source for transporting one car or a whole fleet. Call 855-374-4748 for a free quote or beaconshippinglogistics.com.
Need a vacation but don't have the funds? Don't worry yourselves. Just stop by Halfway Tree Authentic Jamaican Cuisine for a quick trip to the islands. Enjoy some authentic Jamaican food from Halfway Tree, named Best of Rhode Island by Rhode Island Monthly Magazine. Plus, every Saturday, it's New England's #1 weekly Caribbean party with Paul Michael. Halfway Tree is located in downtown Providence at 150 Chestnut Street. Visit us online at halfwaytreeri.com. Halfway Tree is Rhode Island's leading source for authentic Jamaican food and vibes.
She fell in love with my blue eyes, but that love is dead. Yeah. Been wearing old contacts, now my eyes are all red. Girl, why'd I run out of contacts? I see nothing clear. Itchy eyes, old lenses, I can't hold back my tears. Never run out of contacts. Wish I could see you again.
Get Get free expedited shipping on all app orders. Never run out of contacts.
1-800-CONTACTS.
Today, more than ever, Americans need a means to protect their life savings. Birch Gold Group offers peace of mind